Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? We are back. A little après-ski mug comes from our good friend Bonnie. Light's all cattywampus this morning. Good morning, good morning. Glad everybody is here. Forward to seeing you. Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Hello, friends. Good morning. Hello, all. It is great to be back among you, to be back on our regular journey together, this 11:11. Good morning, all. How are you this morning? You're doing great. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the 4th day of February on this 11:11, and I am glad to be back. We're just back from vacation, back a part of our little online journey together, and it is grand that we might continue on. I hope that wherever you are and wherever the Lord finds you, that you might have a blessing in this day. Hey, Pat Davis, good morning to you. That so we were just on vacation. We were down in Key West, which is actually experiencing right now, like much of the country, the coldest spell it has ever had in its time. That in fact, as we talked to some of the native Key West folks there, they weren't even just angry. They were just completely baffled by what the experience they were having. They're like, we don't have blankets like this. We don't have heating systems. We don't have all the things that you would think in order to kind of, and while the temperatures were nothing like they were here, and we all in New England kind of snicker and giggle when Floridians or those kind of talk about those changes. At the same time, they are real in their experience. And so it is, for me it is great to be back, and to be back amongst each one with you, and to come to kind of fly back in, and to have to shovel out a little bit last night as we got in, and to get here, I just continue to be so struck by the ever-changing reality of this world, that we can get on an aircraft for 3 hours and be in transformed environments, be in transformed geographies, be even in transformed cultures with different languages and different places and different people, and so, all that it can be so radically transformed. And yet, in that transformation, in those things, one of the common things that you find about people, which was, this is why I was talking about Key West and here and everything, is that no matter where you go, there you are, then people were angry. Like the people in Key West, they were legitimately angry about the length of cold and simply their inability to be prepared for it. I could come back home and people, were talking about how, it was -2 and below zero and kind of grumblies, the February grumblies that have set in that, and the more that we're looking at that. And in the book of Jonah, there is this one little question that God asks Jonah, and it's great because the whole book of Jonah. One of the things you have to know about the book of Jonah is that the whole book of Jonah is kind of an inside joke. It's a little tongue in cheek. That there's a lot of things that don't come through in the Hebrew, and there's lots of things that don't come in. But it's almost this little running joke in a way. There's this humorous quality of it. And in Jonah 4:4, God asks, so basically at this point Jonah is sulking, like he's just sulking about, and he's kind of sulking about the weather because it's hot. And that there was this tree that not only did all the people that Jonah wanted to see God smite didn't get smoted, all the people that he wanted to, all the injustice that he wanted to see the world made right, injustice meaning like all those people got what they had coming to them, all of that didn't happen. That in fact what happened was God's love and broke out, that God's repentance broke out, that people came to God, that people came to know God, and Jonah is just still kind of hanging on to his angry little self. And and it's all hot, and it's hot out, and he's in the sun, and he snuggles up underneath this tree, and then this worm comes along and eats the root of the tree, the root of the bush, and then the bush dies, and so he doesn't even have any shade, and he's out there hot, sweltering, so he's complaining about the heat. But people complain about cold, heat, doesn't matter what you give them, they'll complain about it, and he's mad about it. He says, and God says this is God's response. It's so good. He says, does this work for you, being angry? How's that working for you? In the King James is, dost thou well to be angry? Like because we're all fancy now. But how is this working for you to be angry? Like, how is your anger working for you? Like, is this a strategy? How is your resentment at the people of Nineveh being spared by God? How is that working for you? How is the resentment about the heat of the sun in which you find yourself and the loss of the shade? How is that working for you? And as we begin and we kick off this month of the coming of the light, this is what Groundhog Day was a couple days ago. This is what Candlemas is in the traditional church. This is what is that the month of February, even though it is a short month, is the month that you see the most in the way the curve and the light goes. It is the way that we see the most gain in minutes of light. And so that not only is Groundhog Day this question about our foray into our pagan ancestry of weather prognostication, but it is also this welcoming of the fact that this darkness that we have been a part of is now coming to participate, and we're gaining 4 or 5 minutes a day of light every day. And that what the natural world is pointing towards, is now this place where we can say, okay, even though light is coming, even though the days are going to get longer, even though that no matter how much snow packs up out there, we know that it's going to go away. We know that in 4 months we're going to walk out there and that the snow will be gone. We know that the transformation in the light will come. We know that it's actually in the process of coming right now. And yet, we're going to complain about it being cold, or we're going to complain about the things in all the world that we're going to complain about. We're still going to be mad about stuff. We're still going to get mad about things. And Jonah's question is this, and God's question to Jonah, who's just being mad about things. He's just sulking about the fact that God didn't smite the Ninevites, that God didn't that God didn't permit him to get his pound of flesh, but that God actually asked him to preach repentance to the Ninevites, and they did it, and God was kind to them. How's that working for you? There's not a heart on this planet, yours and mine included, that doesn't have in it a little bit of that Ninevite resentment that Jonah carried. It's why it's such it's such a powerful book that of we know the story of Jonah. It's this of being swallowed by the whale and being cast back on the shore in which God had called him to, because it's a story that we all experience, that we all have to come back around to that thing that we would rather not do, and yet God keeps putting in our way. That God keeps swooping us up, the thing that makes us mad, the things that we'd rather not deal with, that God keeps scooping us up, swallowing us, and spitting us out right back on the shore in which we have to confront it again. We find this, I don't know about you, but it's true in my life that I continue to find these things, and that they're gifts for us to contend with, that we can renew ourselves in them, that our job is to be made new in them. Because the problem with our anger, and that's not to say we shouldn't be angry about things. There are things to be angry about. There are things that anger is legitimate. It's not that we're just supposed to pull a Marge Simpson and just push it down, Lisa. It's not that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that when we kind of go into that place, rather than using our anger as this motivating factor, as a way of bringing our loves alive or protecting that which needs protecting, it becomes this kind of resentful thing of us just laying in the heat of the day, laying there, and we're just kind of so grumpy about things not working out the way we wanted them to, the way they do in Jonah, the way they really become, well, a seven deadly sin is anger, that wrath that we can bring about. Frederick Buechner, the great Presbyterian theologian, don't hold that against him. He says it this way, and I just love it. He says, of the seven deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, to smack your lips over grievances long past, to roll over your tongue the prospect of bitter confrontation still to come, to savor to the last toothsome morsel both the pain you are given and the pain you are giving back. In many ways, it is a feast fit for a king. The chief drawback is that when you are wolfing down that what you are wolfing, so the chief drawback is that what you are wolfing down is yourself. The skeleton at the feast is you. Friends, when we find ourselves in these places where things are ever changing, and sometimes they're changing in ways that we don't like the way they break, that when things are ever changing and we don't like, and we are confronted again and again and again with our resentments, with our things that we don't care, that we can either offer those up to God. We can either offer those up to the life of love and repentance that God invites us, or we can feast on our own souls. Because that's what Buechner understands. That's what God is poking at when he pokes at Jonah and says, how is your anger working for you? Because what God is really saying is, you don't have to live like this. You don't have to live in resentment. You don't have to live in loneliness. You don't have to live with nothing else but your own bones to gnaw on, with your own skull to as your chew toy. You don't have to live in such a way that all you have is bitterness and resentment about anything. The next snowstorm, the next cold front, the next injustice, the next insult imagined. Friends, the invitation into this season of light, this month of light that is opening up before us, is the invitation to feast at the table of the Most High, who wants to give us all good gifts, who wants to give us all good and warm and beautiful things. if we will but turn to him, offer him our resentments, offer him our struggles, offer him our brokenness, offer him the things that we just can't figure out, and let him work on them. Let us hear his voice saying, how is that working for you? How is that anger? How is that resentment? How is that sin that might even be the most fun bringing you to peace or joy or goodness or justice or love in your life? Because the reality is, the one who made us wants to bring us to wholeness. The one who made the planet spin is the one who will melt the snowbank and bring us tulips in but a few months. Friends, wherever you find yourself, whether it's frozen in the tundra or in the beauty of tropical paradise or anywhere in between, it is my hope that you will commit and offer those resentments, those difficulties, those struggles to the one who made you, that he might set you free. Peace and grace to you all, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11. Oh, let's see who came in. Hey, friends. Hey, Karen, great to see you again. Glad you're here. Allison, hello, hello. Good morning to you. So, Pat Davis, good. Yvette, glad everybody's here. All right, friends, we'll pick it up tomorrow. Great to see you all. It is good to be back.